Welcome everybody to another episode of the NXT Party. I am of course your host, the Rated R reviewer, the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
Tonight our special guests are former guests. We've got James Hebert, we've got Noah Foster. How you doing, James?
We're doing great. How you guys doing?
We are coming off of a really incredible weekend, but we will get into that. We will get into that. Noah, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. What an amazing show that was. And Archangel, congratulations. You and I tied.
So we do have...
That means you gotta do skits like Shane and the Miz.
So we...
here on No DQ.
No Jordans.
So we do have the two No DQ NXT predictions champions. The tied score of 2 correct predictions apiece as our guests. I want to thank you both for showing up last minute. Actually, our original plan guest was Colin Andrew, and we want to send out our thoughts and prayers to him and to his mother. He's got a really good reason not to be on tonight, and we worry about it a little bit, but we're hoping for all of the best, and we just want to give a shout out to you, Colin, and to your mom. Hopefully she gets better and quick.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get right into the show and transition that immediately into the previous show, NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice long video package before we even got the credits. The opening credits with the music and everything. The awesome music. Love that music.
Yeah.
And they were slightly different opening credits. We'll go ahead and throw that out there now. But let's get into the pay-per-view, because Jerry and I actually got to review the pay-per-view with the boss man himself. As we tried to get done, we figured it out, and we got the King of No DQ on the big screen. So if you want to see that video, we're already at 1,100 views. Thank you so much to everybody out there, the No DQ Galaxy. We really appreciate the views. And if you liked it, I hope that you are continuing to watch with us. However, I really am looking forward to getting your guys' views on the show, because you guys actually watch. And of course, me and Jerry watched it at the same time, so we got each other's views during the show.
Yeah.
So let's start with Noah. Instead of going match by match, let's just get you a rundown from beginning to end, starting with what I thought was the match of the night, and most people are agreeing, the tag match for the inaugural championships. What did you think about NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool? Told you once we get it down, it'll be over.
Yep.
Yeah. Top to bottom, incredible show. I don't have one negative thing to say about it. That tag team match is a match of the year candidate to me.
Absolutely.
Enough said. I mean, I'm so glad how everything came out. I love the surprises. It had everything I expected, and I loved the surprise at the end. I cannot wait for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My boy Walter. That's all I gotta say. My boy fucking Walter.
Got it. Got it. It's ending.
I am so freaking hyped to see this match between him and Pete Dunne. I'm going to cream. Wow.
You realize you're probably going to have to wait until Mania to see that match.
Hey,
Maybe the weekend
honestly.
or 2
Hey,
weekends
think
before
about this.
Mania.
You might get him versus Tyler Bate beforehand. They already had a match together at Hello Wembley. If you haven't seen that match, go see it. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Dude,
What are the odds that
awesome,
Walter's going to
man.
get anybody
really-
substantial in the ring for his debut match? Or several matches before his
I think he'll get like
squash matches.
he'll get
man.
squash matches for a little bit, but it's gonna be fun to watch.
I
Because
really
see
hope
his
they don't
moveset.
do that. Like, I think the era of a new guy coming in and having a bunch of squash matches needs to fade away, because the problem with it is when you have all of these squash matches in a row, eventually you get to the point to where they have a winning streak, and that's dangerous.
Or a losing streak.
Because, well, or a losing streak if they're
Tyson T-Bone.
a heel or nobody really considers the jobbers when you think about streaks. But yeah, there's a few losing streaks going on in NXT UK right now. But I think the winning streak is dangerous, because they start booking to try and please this idea that they have to win. And at some point, they have to win every match. Their first loss is going to have to be something significant.
Yep.
You know, it's got to make a difference here. So I don't like the idea of these squash matches. especially for a guy whose name is as big as Walter should be in this promotion. So I'd like to see him come out and beat fucking Flash Morgan Webster. I'd like to see him come out and beat, maybe not Mandrews, definitely Ligero.
Yeah.
I want to see him come out and beat some people that are established.
Absolutely.
Because if you give him a whole bunch of squash matches, you're just going to end up feeding him a lot of people. Instead of just maybe every 3 weeks, he'll have a match against somebody really good.
I think that's kind of where they went wrong with Eddie Dennis, because they built him up to be kind of this monster. Then Mastiff just took him out. Like, granted, he didn't go down without a fight, but at the same time, wasn't nearly as impressive as you.
Twice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that match. Well, I mean, we talked about or you guys talked about how good the tag team match was. Well, Noah did. What did you think about the tag match?
I love the tag match, man. That tag match was awesome. I love the ending to it, honestly. It was really good. I may have lost a prediction. I was not disappointed by the outset at all. I thought both.
I was the only motherfucker that called it.
Yep.
Gibson and Drake. I told you guys. I fucking told you guys.
I even said I wanted them to win, but at the same time, I actually thought Mustache Mountain was going to pull it off.
Man, everybody wanted Mustache Mountain to win it. That's why they didn't win it.
But it's like,
it was beautiful.
Like I said,
it is like my only point.
Like, I got none at all. So
poor Jerry.
Yeah, odd man out. Nothing new.
The funniest thing too, even though with the whole throw of the match of Banks and Jordan Devlin, but the minute I saw Balor come on, I'm like, oh my god, they're actually doing this match.
Jeez.
And the inaugural pay-per-view. Are you kidding me?
I kid you not. 5 minutes before that happened, I sent out a tweet, and I quote, how bad do we need Jordan Devlin versus Finn Balor to happen? And lo and behold, it freaking happened.
That's hilarious.
2 months before this pay-per-view, Jerry was fan booking that shit.
Yeah.
He was like, we gotta have it. They've already said multiple times that Jordan Devlin is a student of Finn Balor. They just bring him in. Like, he'll get a huge pop, and sure enough, man, he called it well in advance. I thought he was nuts.
The only... I was telling Stefan.
It turned out to be that nuts.
I was telling Stefan earlier before we started this broadcast that, like, the only other person that I think would have been an awesome surprise opponent for Devlin would have been Blackpool's own William Regal. Like, just have him come out of retirement for like just one match. You hear that one, like, you hear Regal's music just hit, and just all of a sudden the place would have gone ape shit.
Devlin probably would have actually won that match. I bet Regal would have put him over.
I think Brass Knucks and Anita Head would have said otherwise.
Well,
I mean,
we were going to face Daniel Bryan a while back, and he put Bryan over in that match, so it's hard to say.
Now, I know Noah got his one of his points with the women's title match, because he had that Tony Storm t-shirt on during the predictions video. What did you think about the match, and do you think Tony Storm really should have walked away from that match with the title? Come on, Noah.
I enjoyed the match because it looked like she was able to put a lot more into this match than the last one, especially with her whole back thing and all the, stuff she's been going through personally. But I'll leave that topic alone. I thought it was a very good match. Both women showed off how much they really wanted it. The crowd got into it. They both brought out their best moves, and they both kicked out of their best moves, thus making you wonder, what was it going to take to win? Who could give more? I'm happy with the result in the match, and I feel that Toni Storm's going to have a lot of viable opponents. And, Stefan, I know Rhea is your girl. Think about it. She could go to a whole nother level now that she's going after the title again. Sometimes the chase is better than owning it.
Well, we are in the era of supposed no more rematch. So, if she gets a match, she may not. It looks like they're building Jinny up to be the first opponent for Toni Storm, which I'm in favor of. Because I believe that Toni Storm can beat Jinny. Mm-hmm. I don't think that her beating Rhea is so believable. Anyway, James, what did you think about the women's title match?
Oh, that was an awesome match. I thought it was back and forth the whole time. I thought that, I wanted Rhea to win, but love Toni Storm. I love both of them, honestly. You know what I see this being eventually down the line? This is going to turn into like a Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne friendship where they're bitter enemies at the start, but they turn into good friends until they get called up to Raw. That's what I think is going to happen.
That means
this
they got to
is great
turn Rhea
planning of the seeds, in my
babyface.
opinion.
I don't like that idea.
I don't know. I can see Tony Storm as a heel.
Why not? Go for it.
You ain't bedfellows. I mean, it could happen in both men or women, so you do have a full idea.
Now, we already talked about Walter. We got your thoughts about Walter. But before Walter, we had this 35, 36-minute main event. And most of us, everybody but this man right here, called Joe Coffey to get the belt and to de-seat Pete Dunne
to take
as
the
the
belt
NXT
from his
UK
mouth.
championship. Or actually, sorry, WWE UK champion. They need to undo that and make it NXT UK champion. But whatever. James, what did you think about the main event?
I thought the main event was great. So the thing about the main event is, I'm not going to give it too much slack because I think what ended up happening was, Coffee, I don't know what happened, but like right at the end of that match, I see they're trying to go, I think, for like this. I think it was an avalanche flip bottom or the freaking Spanish.
The double botch. Is this what we're talking about now? The double botch.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. I think the reason why it went on longer than it should have. I think the match would have been perfect probably at 32 minutes, to be honest.
No,
I thought the match was great.
I was gonna say it only a
moment.
couple of minutes maybe, but they were back up top in like less than 90 seconds.
Yeah, they tried the same spot again, and the immediate thought that went through my head is, guys, don't kill yourselves. This isn't necessary.
Oh my
You
god.
already had an amazing match.
Especially if the second spot was
away.
not a botch. If the second spot was what they were supposed to do in the first place, let it go, man.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't. I'm pretty sure that was a second double botch, but whatever. Noah, what did you think about the main event?
I thought the main event delivered on all fronts. It went a lot longer than I thought it would. I'll be honest with you on that. I like how a lot of their moves was just literally punching the daylights out of each other to see who could go down. I think each person used their finisher at least twice. But what I found also interesting, it kind of took the same finish approach as Pete Dunne versus Jordan Devlin. What happened? Wishbone, submission, immediate tap out. Now, whether or not that's going to be the constant for Pete Dunne or Walter's going to be the first to stop that from happening, it's hard to say. But I enjoyed the match overall.
So we had a triple agreement. We all gave that match 4 1/4 spots of tea out of 5. I'll go ahead and get your guys' ratings on the main event, and that includes the Walter spot, because main event, not necessarily match. So Noah, what would you rate it? Excuse me.
Well, before Walter, and just thinking about how long it was, and seeing the botch and the whole thing about not selling that one finish, I was with you basically. I was at a 4 1/4, but Walter came in, kicked the daylights out of Joe Coffey, and just stood there. I loved it. 4 1/2 overall for me.
Nice, James.
I loved the match despite the botch. I actually went with, if we're going to include the Walter spot, I mean, it's probably 4 3/4 to be honest with you, even with the botch. I dimmed it down a quarter because I think of the botch at the end.
So you took it from a 5-star down.
Yeah.
All right.
I have just had one question, because I asked you this a little bit ago, too. Where do you guys see Joe Coffey fitting into this from here? Like, since Pete Dunne's going to be...
Here's the thing. If they were going to do this right, because I see a real money... if they want to do a UK War Games, they got a money opportunity now, because you got to remember, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel are a thing.
Yeah.
You can have Walter lead that crew against Gallus and British Strong Style, and you could have that triple threat tag team match in War Games. I would love to see a build up to that. That'd be amazing.
I think if we're going to have a War Games match with NXT UK in it, I'd rather see a 4 versus 4 War Games match with NXT UK versus NXT. Or even a 5 versus 5.
I don't mind the triple threat tag team scenario. I think they did it amazingly the first time around, honestly, and I love the 4-on-4 too. Don't get me wrong. I much prefer that. But if they're going to build Walter up, I think you should have a faction behind him. I know it's kind of redundant, but I think Joe Coffey needs to factor into this somehow. Because first off, I'd love to see a triple threat match between Walter, Joe Coffey, and Pete Dunne. that's a mouth-watering prospect.
Well, I think you're in agreement with Cindy because I think she was trying to pair Walter up with Eichner and Bartel as well.
Yep.
Oh well, hey.
Similar to the Ring Talk faction.
So that's the pay-per-view. I thought it was great, but it's time to move on. We are on to NXT UK episode number, get this, 26. So I guess we consider the pay-per-view to be episode 25.
Yep.
Sure. Okay. Because you don't find it in
Best
the
episode ever.
You don't find it in the pay-per-view section. You find it in the NXT UK section. So
yeah,
there you go. Up first, we have Ligero versus Saxon Huxley. And this was a match.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Anybody got any notes? I really just kind of sat back and watched it happen.
Pretty much the same way I am with it too. We saw pretty much Ligero's main spots that he does. Saxton tried some wear down holds, like some almost submission type things, but that didn't pan out because frankly nobody saw Saxton and Huxley winning this match.
No, and he stands a full head over Ligero. He's way bigger, and still, I'm like, yeah, Saxon Huxley hasn't won a match since he got here. He ain't about to start. Noah, what'd you think about this match?
It was your usual Ligero match. I think the only thing that was different, we didn't see sliced bread. Instead, we saw like a go for the rope stunner. And I thought the Saxon, what was that? Like he got down on his knees and pounced on him. I thought that was kind of funny. But besides that, the win was obvious.
I was about to say it was a pretty forgettable match. I'm starting to, and I asked like Stephen, I'm like, do you think they put these matches after after Takeover or before Takeover? Because the crowd didn't look like either looked exhausted or just couldn't get into the match at all.
If it's like NXT Takeover Chicago, then they happen before the pay-per-view, and there's a possibility that the crowd wasn't even fully there.
Yeah.
Well, you saw a bunch of people walking around when they did go camera on the crowd. So, even though the commentators, they say, "Oh, Takeover was amazing," that had to be like filtered. Probably, I would have to say this probably was before the.
Yeah, this was definitely before. That's how they always do their specials. Like they filmed the episode prior and then pretend like they knew. Well, they probably did know the result anyway ahead of time, but they probably pretended like they knew what the result was anyway because they saw it. That's how they always do their takeover.
It's also a little different when they don't necessarily have the results scripted, as we learned from that NXT script. And that's another reason why I enjoy watching the NXT brands more than main roster. But that's a debate for another day. Stephen, another thing I did notice, because you're about, why do these moves not have names? Springboard DDT, blah, blah, blah. It looks like it probably does have a name. I think they call it the C4L. And
Crazy for Ligero.
Crazy for Ligero.
C4L, yeah. So what do you think about this match, James?
They were just watching it. It was always called the C4L. They just
said it now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There you go.
What the fuck? Why did it take this long?
Should have Wikipedia'd it. We should Wikipedia Isla Dawn and see if her finisher has a name. But we'll talk about Isla Dawn in a minute. In the meantime, James, what did you think about the match?
Match was basic. 2 spots to take.
Oh yeah, we're not rating this one, but it lets us know where you stand on the match.
This was a match. It was basic, nothing more. I mean, got Ligero over, did his job.
Jerry,
more Saxon Huxley.
What did you think about the match? I'm going somewhere with this. Go ahead.
The fries were great.
Yeah, this first match of the show, we're still eating at this point. Part of the reason I didn't take any notes. The other part was, the way I see it, I see a lot of typical in general, regular Ligero match. No, I believe Ligero has 2 kinds of matches. One where he's trying really hard to put over the other competitor, and so the other competitor gets a lot of offense. And in this case, it's usually a heel, and they have a lot of rest holds and a lot of really boring shit that they got to get through. He has that kind of match. And then he has the match where only he is supposed to look good. And those matches are really fucking fun to watch. Yeah. Whether he wins or loses. And this was the former. This was kind of boring, man. Two spots of tea is kind of generous. Because I really didn't get into it until it was fucking over. And it was that spot that Noah mentioned, that spring in stunner, but he immediately went from that. That was to stun his opponent so he could hit that springboard tornado DDT, which, yes, the C4L, as we were finally told on commentary.
Kind of a lame name for that finisher now that I think about it, too.
Agreed.
I would have stopped at C4.
C4. There's a reason it's called that, but of course, commentary never went over it, and I don't. This is why I wish Morrow was on there, because he'd probably know the history of the shit.
Didn't Vic Joseph say it stood for Cheers for Ligero or something like that?
Crazy for Ligero.
Crazy for Ligero.
Crazy for Ligero. Thank you. Still stupid.
For Ligero.
Still stupid.
I say cut off the L and just call it the C4.
Yeah.
C4, yeah.
The C4.
It's I can take that.
It's explosive.
Yeah. So before we get to the next, I think it's a segment, whatever. Or no, next match, we get a commercial. Normally I don't talk about commercials, but in this case it was for a documentary for Mean Gene.
Yeah.
The promo commercial for it looked great. Kind of makes me want to watch it. But if I wasn't going to watch the one with Nigel McGuinness, probably not going to watch this one either.
Well, you're not,
but for those of you out there, it's there. So if you want to go watch probably a really mean promo or a documentary about Mean Gene Okerlund, then there you go.
The only person they showed that's actually said anything in it so far is Triple H, but he has kind words about it. But at the same time, you're getting to see a whole bunch of Mean Gene Okerlund's best segments and everything. It is definitely no doubt worth a watch. So I grew up in the '80s. Like there's Gene Okerlund was everywhere. So
I tell you something I've noticed about this show. It is extremely match heavy. But there's only 3 matches, and it's only like 42 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So we go right into another match. We've got Isla Dawn versus Jinny. This is the match that I thought might have happened at the pay-per-view. We all have predictions on this, and if we're counting them, it's still a tie for first place. But also, Jerry still remains at a goose egg. He's the only one that picked Isla Dawn. I think I might have goaded him into it a little bit because he went last. But I got to give you credit. It was a ballsy prediction to think Isla Dawn would get the win. But Jinny gets the win here. I've got a few notes, just some stuff. With Dawn with this beautiful running Meteora. Jinny seated, sitting up.
Mm-hmm.
She got this double foot push. Like, Jinny's running into her in the corner. She catches her with her feet, pushes her away, and does this running Hurricane Rana. Or Jinny does this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jinny's in the corner. Jinny. This running Hurricane Rana.
Beautiful.
He said beautiful, and I'm like, damn right.
This is the one note I had in my head, and I wanted to point it out.
Is it about the undercleavage?
The minute she hit that Hurricane Rana, I'm like, oh great, the roles are reversed. I love the Hurricane Rana, don't get me wrong, but it's like Jinny should be face now, and Isla Dawn should be heel. The roles here are mixed.
I mean, Jinny's just she's cooler looking in the ring. Her gimmick makes sense, and she's way better on the mic. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Noah, what did you think about this match?
I always knew Isla Dawn and Jinny would be pretty good when the two get in there. You have the narcissistic fashionista with Jinny, and you have who I still am confused with White Witch. Why you just don't call her a witch? And again, I think you're right. Isla Dawn, she definitely shows off this mysterious persona. You think she would be a heel, but she's not. Both women looked amazing, by the way, in ring gear and in the ring. I thought it was really good.
All right.
Like I said, we got the return of the undercleavage, this time with a little symbol in there. It's great. First time
this whole week has been about that sort of thing, creative views. Why not talk about here? Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good match. That Hurricane Rana, like you said, was beautiful. There was a Gloria Especial.
That was a really fun sequence. That was a really fun sequence.
He actually thought she was going to go to Vertebreaker.
For a second, dude, I was like, Breaker. No, they're not going to pull that out of retirement. But it was fun to imagine it was about to happen.
Well, it was a fun match, and Jinny won. I mean, Isla Dawn, she was like, what do I need to do to beat her? She tries to go to the top rope. Jinny catches her, takes the legs out, and says that not this time, and Jinny finishes her off with what they call the X Factor.
A top rope, or middle rope, draping X Factor.
Yeah. It looked Like it could have gone wrong in so many different ways, but it actually looked good. So I was happy with that.
I want to expound. Oh, go ahead.
Like, this is one of the things I noticed when watching the match, especially her finish, the X Factor Facebuster. It's like this. She's supposed to be a heel, but I buy into her more as a babyface purely for her moveset. Yeah,
and her charisma.
The fashionista, I don't care, but I feel like she'd be more suited better for a babyface. And Jenny should be the heel. Not Jenny. I would want to be the heel.
Totally agree. Totally.
To be honest.
I think that instead of the X Factor, I think it should be called the It Factor, since she's like this, supposed to be this fashionista model thing.
And that's why you should work for WWE UK, sir.
The It Factor just sounds awesome.
Tell Bobby Roode he's gonna.
I haven't heard that since TNA. I was about to say. Thank you, Gene.
So I want to expound upon the gory special that Noah talked about, because this was a really fun sequence.
Yeah.
So it was Isla, right? Yeah. She takes up Jenny, looking like a vertebraker, but transitions it into a gory special. But then Jenny counters that, rolls through, and they kind of each go for a pinfall, not successful. But Jenny rolls through that into that fucking beautiful surfboard. Yeah, Mexican surfboard. And then transitions out of that into a camel, almost a camel clutch.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
She rolled on top of her, which I thought was just great. Like, she looked like freaking Sonic the Hedgehog. She just did this real quick rolling thing, just got her into a headlock. I was like,
it's like a seamless transition. It was beautiful.
So I think we all agree that Jenny looks great. It's too bad she's not going to beat Toni Storm.
You don't know.
They can't do that again.
If they make Toni Storm a transitional champion, that's going to be so sad.
Yeah, they can't do that again. As much as I didn't want to see Toni Storm beat Rhea for the title, I want to see the title stay on Toni Storm for a little while. Just helps with the credibility of a brand new belt.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, because I feel like Jenny's not going to be like a one-off. And like you said, they are trying to get away from the whole automatic rematch clause thing, which I agree with. I could see Jenny and Toni going for a little bit of a storyline. I could see the first match being a bit, back and forth, Toni winning, and then the two will go at it again. I could see Jenny actually becoming champ before the end of the year. That's all I'm saying.
I could see Jenny being the next contender on NXT UK TV.
Yeah.
There'll be another contender, and Toni Storm will beat them. We'll have 2 or 3 matches on NXT UK. We'll build it up towards the next NXT UK TakeOver event, which will probably be the weekend before or 2 weekends before WrestleMania, if this past TakeOver event is any indication of how they're going to do it. And hopefully we see Rhea do some kind of match, like maybe there's a Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match, something. Earn an opportunity, and we see the rubber match at WrestleMania.
I was about to say, it's like
Mania weekend.
We don't
right. Thank you.
We don't want to tarnish the long lineage of the NXT UK Women's Championship.
It's not very often they get to bring new titles into existence.
Yeah.
In this case, you've got an entire new brand, so off the rip you get 3 titles. You get the men's title, the women's title, and the tag titles. So.
Do you think they're going to come out with a secondary belt, even though they just got done with a tag title?
I don't know. All I know is that Pete Dunne has been the champion for 600 plus days. That is how you fucking make the title prestigious.
Yes.
Just saying.
A real champion, too.
Moving it from person to person in a short period of time is not how you fucking do that. And so, as much as I didn't want to see Toni Storm get the belt, I want to see her keep it at least until Mania.
Yeah.
I don't watch main roster anymore, but that's the reason why even though some of the finishes were wonky, that's the reason why WWE Championship was so prestigious again, was because Styles held it for so long.
Yeah, like 10 months.
Yeah.
Jesus. Or 11, something like that. It was a while.
He beat JBL's record, and that's all I give a shit about.
Yeah.
JBL.
No, it was over a year, wasn't it?
That name
Shit. I don't even remember. That's how much I'm enjoying Daniel Bryan as the new champ. I don't remember how long AJ's reign was.
New Daniel Bryan. Fickle!
So up next, we have the one and only promo, really, segment, video package, whatever. This was a video promo, a selfie promo, from Travis Banks, and I am so over Travis Banks.
So am I.
Completely, like, I don't care anymore.
He's got to be a heel. They got to turn him.
Is that the only thing you can do? I guess.
He's well. The problem is they've had him in the wrong role this whole time. Like, this is what I was thinking when they brought him in for the UK tournament too. I'm thinking, okay, well, he's a heel. Halfway through the tournament, he's face, and I'm like, what? I mean, yeah, Gibson was obviously the better heel, but now I think Banks needs to be a heel. His natural persona, because I watched him before he came to WWE. I watched him in WCW and like Progress and all these other indies. He was heel in all of them. He was such a better heel than he is a babyface. That's where you can see a more character development, I feel like, as a heel, not as a babyface. They've had this completely ass backwards with him.
I guess if I got to see them attempt this, then I could probably have a better opinion on it. But right now, I'm done with Travis. Like,
my problem is we're not, like, actually you and I probably aren't as schooled with Travis Banks as these two are. Like, the first time we saw him, he was knocked on his ass in the back locker room. And, like, it just makes him seem like he's injury prone.
We have seen him in the ring at least, 3 times?
Yes. But
we're going to see him again next week. That is the crux of the promo.
But I'm saying that first impression-wise, first time we saw him, he's knocked out in the back.
Second time we see him, he's knocked out in the back and then before his match.
So... It's
third time knocked out in a lobby and knocked out before his match.
Yeah. So it's gotten to the point where he just seems more injury prone and more like he's gonna be some sort of like a middleman to just push somebody else into a match, and I just can't get.
I will give him one more match. We're getting a match next week, and like I said, that's the crux of this promo is that we're gonna see him versus Devlin in the match that we should have seen at TakeOver, and. Okay, I'll give him one more match, see what happens. Maybe at some point they'll turn him heel, and then we can go from there. But otherwise, like, I'm just bored with him. What about you, Noah?
It sounds like he's going to become NXT UK's Dolph Ziggler at this point, enhancement talent.
Yeah, it's bad, man. Like, here's the thing. The thing about it is, too, they could have made him work as a babyface, but it wasn't. It started not even just before NXT UK became a thing. This started happening back in the inaugural fucking tournament.
Correct.
Like, this is when this shit started happening, and he was getting beaten up. I'm like, why are you doing this to him? Like, if anything, he should be a heel, in some way. Like, I get you had Zach Gibson, but if he wasn't going to win anyway, and he was going to be the tag team champion, then why didn't you put Travis Banks in that spot then? It just makes no sense to me. Like, hindsight 2020, now they got to turn him heel, because, like, otherwise it's not going to be interesting enough. I think even with a win against Jordan Devlin, he's dead to rights right now as a face.
That's a big if, too.
Yeah.
So we could probably argue this for a while. Let's save it for after the next match, and we'll see where they go. Likewise, I want to see where they go with Joe, because where do you go from here with Joe Coffey? Other than just put him in the corner with Gallus as a tag team.
Well, you also heard my idea is the fact that he's going to try to challenge Pete Dunne again, but then Mastiff will come out and say he's like the rightful #1 contender at this point. And
it's hard to argue that.
That would actually be, I think, a pretty decent match right there.
So I can see that definitely being the direction they're going after the massive win Dave Massive had over Eddie Dennis.
I like the word massive there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the one match we didn't talk about. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It was exactly what it needed to be. That's about the best way I can put it. Exactly what it needed to be. No longer, no shorter, no more spots, no less.
There wasn't
power struggles and destruction, and the face won.
And Eddie Dennis still looked pretty good because he finally was able to get Mastiff up for that 7th bridge. Just he never really was able to hit it.
And he was showing how hard of a struggle it was too by just buckling his knees. So very well done.
Well, that was for the swinging DDT,
and also protects his finisher heavily.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
it's not, I can hit this out of nowhere, easy on anybody. No, he actually has to put effort into doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So up next we have the main event, and You know me and Jerry are looking forward to this because it's got our guys Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. We are big fans of this fucking team. Little bit with Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster, the man with 3 names. They're all right, but I think their personalities and their gimmick are getting. I know it's only been 26 episodes, but they're getting kind of stale. I'm tired of seeing happy-go-lucky Mandrews coming out there waving his arm.
Flash Morgan Webster needs to be a heel. He has entirely too cool of a weapon he carries around out the ring with him to not be a heel.
Just start
Yeah, that helmet.
Just like headbutt people with it, like.
Well, Flash comes out in this black getup, you know, with the Union Jack sort of design, but it's black and like silver or black and white, and I'm like, this is the night he turns heel if he's going to turn heel because he's got the look down.
Yeah.
Total heel look. What do you think about this match, Jerry?
Did I see Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews winning this match? 9!
Very nice.
It's exactly what I was expecting out of the match. A whole bunch of tag maneuvers out of a team that seemingly just got put together, but they've been together for a while. But storyline-wise here, they've only had a couple matches together, but they look like they've been wrestling together for like a decade. Like it's just really great to watch those two in the ring. And we saw a lot of flippy, spinny shit out of Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrew, but that's what we're used to out of them. And all in all, is exactly what I was hoping for in that match. Because this is another one of those matches that I was kind of pining for to either be on the TakeOver card or as a dark match. Either way, I wanted that match. I wanted it now. You know, this is like
Sure.
But it was a great match, I thought. So.
Now, Noah, what did you think about the main event?
I absolutely loved it. And like you said, from one team you got a bunch of counters and the flips and Hurricane Ranas, and the other team you just got pure physicality. I loved how serious Marcel Bartel was during this, because you saw Fabian Eichner come out first with this cocky persona, this smile. Marcel Bartel, he did not smile once. I'm pretty sure also he said, 9! I was trying to keep count. I mean, there were so many awesome combinations and tag team offense from that team as well. I love this match, and the right team won, in my opinion. I just wish they would figure out a better name than European Union.
Yeah, they need to come up with a better name. Now,
I think that's just what the announcers have been calling them. I don't think they're
really pushing it like the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, but I believe Drake and Gibson actually call themselves the Grizzled Young Veterans. I don't think we've heard Bartel and Eichner call themselves the European Union.
They haven't really had a chance to talk much either.
So, James, what did you think about the main event?
The main event was good. Exactly what I expected out of the main event. Morgan Webster and Mandrews doing a bunch of flippy shit. It was fun. And Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner was also very fun. The offense they were able to pull out. I love the reverse suplex tag maneuver they did, where I think it was Eichner hit a spine buster, then transitioned into a reverse suplex. And then he had an uppercut to, like, take down Mandrews to, like, try to get the advantage. I really like the dynamics of the team so far.
I think at one point Marcel Bartel tossed, who was it? Mark Andrews into Fabian Eichner for a vertical brainbuster. That was nuts.
Tossed it.
I know what you're talking about.
All right, I'm going to get into that. I have more than a half a page of notes for this match.
Oh, please allow
Wasn't expecting this. But there is a lot of great spots in this, and I'm sure some people hate it when I do this, but I'm going to go spot for spot because I don't want to miss anything. So we've got one spot where Bartel counters Arana, and he ends up throwing Flash into Eichner, who does like one of those spinning backbreakers, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, out of a catch.
Yes.
And that's just one of the moves like this that they do. One of the other ones was, like you said, off the top. Okay, so we had the assisted 450 by Mandrews. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So both teams kind of had this fluidity about them. So the best I could call this was a tilt-a-slam. Eichner throws Mandrews into Bartel. Bartel catches him like he's going to do a tilt-a-whirl, but instead slams him the other way.
Yep.
Like, fucking, I've never seen that before. A lot of these I've never seen before. We had the one of the moves that we've gotten a couple of times out of Bartel and Eichner, that power slam, or not, spine buster by Eichner, and then Bartel comes off the ropes with the soccer kick. Fucking wicked looking.
Brutal.
Now, there was a spot where we thought we were about to see the Slumdog Millionaire, but actually Mandrews counters this vertical suplex, flips over in midair, catches him with a Hurricane Rana that ejects him, Eichner, out of the ring. Mm-hmm. And from there, because we've already got Bartel outside, we get a double Tope Con Hero over the top rope, both of them, to both guys. This is kind of the reset of the match.
Yeah. And when the crowd started getting more into it, like
level 2, that's when they left their seats.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think they go from this to go and try and do a double team move. Mandrews goes to the top rope, and we had Flash goes to the top rope. Bartel counters whatever Mandrews was trying to do, catches him up top, lawn darts him into fucking Flash on the top rope. Jesus.
That was awesome.
And then that was a near fall. And then somehow Mandrews comes back. He does that double overhead kick to both of them. And then he catches that DDT, that tornado DDT. Or no, he jumps in, is caught, turns it into a tornado DDT, drops him. And then while he's trying to get back up, Flash goes up top for a swanton that looked more like a flip, but lands across his back while he's up on all fours. That looked painful.
Yeah,
Shadows over Malice.
Ken Kennedy Swanton Bounce at back. Best
Yeah.
It was a combination of like Delirious's like chemical imbalance that Shadows over Hell is what he used to call it, like in Ring of Honor.
It was very reminiscent of what was his name from WCW?
Sean O'Hare?
Yeah, Sean O'Hare.
Yeah, Sean
The way
O'Hare,
he flipped.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do the double throat cut, but either way.
No.
So we finally get the Stun Dog Millionaire out of, and Mandrews nails that to Bartel. Then he goes for a suicide dive to Bartel because Bartel rolled out of the ring. But on the other side, Fabian Eichner trips him up, and this is where Mandrews goes bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
He picks him up, runs him into the barricade back first, and then that wicked running knee that we've been seeing out of Eichner into a stationary object, in this case, against the fucking barricade.
Yeah.
Mandrews is done. Now, we've seen this situation play out. The last time it was that outside move that I don't remember what it was. It was the suplex onto the ramp.
Yeah.
That took Mandrews out, and then you're like, Flash is alone in the ring. And I even told him, I was like, you know what? Maybe Flash will pull it out this time. He's like, no fucking way, dude. No fucking way.
9.
He tries, though. He tries. Flash goes for his version of a whisper in the wind, basically springing off the middle rope. But fucking Bartel comes in and pulls Eichner out of the way. This is the final bump before the end of the match, basically. So we've got Eichner pulls Flash through the middle rope, holds him there for that running basement drop kick that Bartel does.
Not nearly as much force as he usually nails with it.
Well, we saw that one that they did where Eichner was holding the guy in the ropes, and it looked so good. It looked so painful, and it sounded painful. Mm-hmm. This time around, it looked like the way he was doing it before, where he kind of just falls into him. Yeah. But whatever. All the rest of the moves are badass, so who cares? And then we get a new finisher from these two, from Eichner and Bartel. He goes back to doing the spin power bomb, only this time when he gets done, he holds him up, and Marcel Bartel comes off the middle rope with a European uppercut into the end of the power bomb. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. I like the power bomb into the German more, but hopefully they'll use both.
Better. Much better. I would stick with having both though. I think both moves can finish a match. And I even came up with a name I hope they would use. The Jackknife German, because that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Jackknife powerbomb into a German suplex. I think that's awesome.
The biggest thing when it comes to superstars and tag teams, it's like, oh, they got one move, it's over. If they were to use both, this makes the team feel more dynamic. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I feel like both teams definitely showed how dynamic they are as a tag team tonight.
So around these parts, we rate the main event using T. Yes, NXT. Out of 5 spots of T, let's go with Noah first. Where do you rate this main event?
Both teams brought out their A game. You saw physical tag team dynamics from one and high-flying, fast-paced, flipping dynamics from the other. The crowd got into it. I was not bored. I can't honestly wait to see what's next for both these teams or see this match again. It's a 4.5 for me.
Wow.
Ooh. Yeah.
Noah's on those high T shit tonight. So, James, where would you rate the main event?
I'd go 4.25 spots at T.
Wow.
It's a good match. I enjoyed it. I'm like Noah. I wouldn't mind seeing this match again.
All right. Jared?
Well, anybody that's been watching the show knows I've been craving this match since they became a team.
At least 5 weeks.
Yes, I've been waiting for it, and sure enough, it didn't disappoint. It could have easily been on the TakeOver card as well, and just fit in perfectly with everything else that was going on. There was really no botches going on. Everything was seamless. You had your high-flying action. You had your great tag maneuvers left and right. And it kept me engaged. It's like a terrific match. I'm going to give it 4 1/4.
I really like Eichner and Bartel, and I decently like the man with 3 names and Mandrews. But somehow it just seems so over the top to give it a 4 1/4 or 4.5. Like, this was what I expect out of these guys. Like, this match didn't necessarily blow me away. It didn't really tell any story, other than just they were 2 teams that don't like each other. But for the most part, it was just a standalone, really good action. And for that, I'd give it 4 stars. But I don't know about giving it any higher than that.
I was about to say, Eichner and Mandrews had a story going on for a while, though. So, that was his first match, wasn't it?
We're talking in the match, though,
yeah,
not built up.
All right, or is it
or
okay?
build up.
So yeah, I can say there was no story in the match, of course, but there was plenty of build up towards it. And
this was a great match, but this is the kind of match I expect out of these 2 teams. They didn't give me anything completely unexpected, honestly, other than the change of finisher. But even still, I actually thought the old finisher was better. So, I gotta lowball this one. I'm giving it 4 stars.
Well, that's still 4 though. So that's
I say, great match. Just
this was an NXT pay-per-view, NXT main event is what it was.
Oh, absolutely,
yes.
NXT main event, not a takeover quality. Definitely a dark match that's gonna play the next week on NXT UK, which is what it was. I think the crowd for NXT Blackpool got their money's worth.
Oh, yes.
Between these 3 matches and the 5 matches that we got for the pay-per-view, I would have loved to have been there.
Eight solid matches is what they got that night. So, kudos to you, Blackpool. Kudos.
So, still, everything's over 4 stars.
Yep.
So, great main event. But that brings us to the end of the NXT party, and let's let James, the Archangel, James Hebert, what do you have to plug, sir?
Well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at jhebertside95, and you can also follow me on my main YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. That's JHEBERTSIDE95. You can also check out my CAW Wrestling League, where we're going to be hosting our biggest event that we've ever hosted ever. We're going to be streaming on 5 different platforms, 2 YouTube channels and 3 different streaming services for Immortal. That's youtube.com/user/WYWPride. Get hyped. Weymouth Youth Wrestling all the way. And to end this, I have a question for the No DQ Galaxy.
Absolutely, shoot.
You can send it to Stefan or me. Or anybody, in relation to the possible faction that could happen with Walter, Marcel Bartel, Amphibian Nightmare. What would you call the faction? And do not call it the Axis Powers. Come on.
Yeah, you can leave that down in the comments. I would love to hear those answers as well. Noah, what do you have to plug? The Simple Man.
You want to follow me, talk about wrestling and all that fun stuff, look me up on Twitter, NoDQ4/Noah. You want monthly WrestleCrate unboxings, pay-per-view predictions, WWE and beyond, look up my YouTube channel, Simple Noah. I'll also be starting up a series inspired by you guys.
Awesome.
Steph, Jerry, and Stefan.
Yes!
On 205 Live, will be called 205 Live Matters. Stay tuned for more details on that on my channel. Just look up Simple Noah on YouTube. And as always, support wrestling on this, both big and small. Buy a t-shirt, support for Wrestling Tees, support NoDQ.com, and let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that.
I'm an inspiration.
We done good.
We did good. I really appreciate you saying that, but honestly, I think Noah could have done this show without being inspired by us.
Pretty much.
Hey, but you could be saying, as the British would say, doing bits.
Just remember, if you ever have a guest on your show, Noah, we want to be first. We put us both in the screen for you.
We are attention whores.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to conclude our episode of the NXT party. If you enjoyed the episode, click like, subscribe to NoDQ.com's YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel where these videos go actually first before Aaron gets them and puts them on NoDQ, go to Aftermatch Wrestling, all one word, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. I'm up to like 22 subscribers, something like that. It's not a lot. I think if we get to 100 subscribers, it's basically me and Jerry's channel at this point. If we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to start doing these videos live. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, probably really late at night for East Coast, decently late for the West Coast, you can watch us live. Otherwise, if you'd like to be on the NXT party up here on the big screen where our friends James and Noah are, you can contact me at Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan, that's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find this gentleman on Twitter
At NoDQ General, and also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point.
Yeah, we got everybody.
We got that time.
Yeah, just look us up. I believe all four of us are in the group. So if you find any one of us, we will add you, no problem. I don't add people on Facebook. I keep my spoilers off my Facebook. All of that goes onto Twitter. But I will happily follow you back on Twitter. If you've already followed me on Twitter, or if you're going to follow me on Twitter, send me a DM message. Say, hey, follow me back. Instantaneous. I will follow you back, absolutely. Other than that, for the Archangel, James Hebert, for the Simple Man, Noah Foster, for the General, Jerry Slaughter, I am, of course, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne. Thanks for having a spot of NXT with us, and we will see you NXT time.
Cheerio.
Cheers, mate.